stuff. How you feeling?
Good. Start of a new week.
What is it? We know you didn't practice today. What is it that's bothering you?
The injury report will be out later. I'm sure everybody will know.
Malik, what's your relationship like with Jaxson, and how do you feel about him being your starting quarterback moving forward?
Building the relationship, I gotta, time spent with him through the season now, off season. So, I'm gonna support him, support everyone that's in the offense. We got a job to do, and we're gonna continue to play football.
Do you think it's the best move for this team?
The decision is not up to me; it's up to Dave's, and they thought that was the best decision for the team, and I'm just following on.
You've been Malik, one of the biggest proponents of Russ, I think, since he got here, and how it was going to help you, how it was going to help the offense to kind of have that experiment be thrown out the side and Dart thrown in there, especially after a 450-yard game, 10, 11 days. I mean, how do you process that?
Process is I got a job to do. My job is to run routes, catch the ball, no matter who's throwing me the football. Like I said, the decision wasn't up to me. Like I said, I still got a job to do and go play football.
Is it a challenge as a receiver to go out and play a game with a quarterback who, even if he's talented, like you just haven't played a lot with? What is that challenge like? Have you done that before?
I'm sure everyone's seen last year, 3-4 different quarterbacks. That was the same thing. It's hard, but, we're going to support him. We're going to do our best to help make sure he's prepared, help sure he's ready. We're going to help him lead. We're going to do what everybody else was doing when I was a rookie the same way, helping me. So we're going to, uplift his spirits and help him also, during the game. If something goes bad, we'll just uplift him and continue to roll.
What did you learn from those quarterback changes last year about sort of the best way to approach this situation?
They're going to find a way to get one the ball.
You faced Jaxson in college, obviously. Jaxson talked about that now. What do you remember about that game, and does it kind of excite you now to be in the same offensive side with him?
Right. I remember those games going back and forth. He did a great job of leading his team to, victory one of those games. Went to overtime. I don't think that went to overtime. I think it was a Hail Mary. It lasted on. So, he does a great job of, when the game is close, he continue to fight. He's going to continue to fight until, the clock is at 0 and his team is victorious. So that's a great, person to have, at quarterback right now. I'm not saying that Russ wasn't doing the same thing. I'm just saying, from his college experience. But like I said, he's, amazing at what he does, and I'm excited to see him play.
Is there some excitement about how different the offense could look? Obviously, we know it was throwing deep balls with Russ was one of his strengths, but Jaxson has a little more athleticism. He's younger, maybe more over the middle stuff. Is there some excitement about maybe the offense looking a little different?
I'm not really sure. I guess we'll wait to see, Sunday. But, you take a look at his film. He's pushed the ball down the field the same way. I was watching film with, Dave's, during the off season. He throws a pretty good deep ball. Like you say, he's athletic. So, it's a help to the offense also. But I'm excited to see him go out and play.
What did you think of your route tree and usage in the last game?
I got a couple routes to get the ball. Things always happen, whether it's the line, whether it's defensive scheme. Like I say, they did a great job of keeping me in front of them. Safeties did a great job. Corners did a great job of forcing to their leverage. They just did a great job of just overall the defensive scheme to just limit me. I had a couple of great routes. It was a lot of plays that I wish I can get back just to help my quarterback. But like I said, had a pretty good route tree, just ain't live up to the plan.
Presumably teams are going to try to do that again. Yeah. They're going to watch that game and say, this is how we limit him. Mm-hmm. How do you think you guys should attack that differently? Because you can't just let teams keep the ball in your hands, right?
Right. You look at it. You look at the film. You see what plays we can run. See what schemes we can run to try to give me the ball. Rather than be early, rather than just be schematic. But I think my coach is going to do a very good job of just studying the tape, try to find different ways to try to give me the ball rather than those different defensive schemes. But practice is at best right now. Just try to get those looks in practice and hopefully take it to the game.
What have you learned about Jaxson just over these last 3 weeks with him at QB2?
I think he's done a great job of just being ready. I see him during practice he's behind, taking those reps, taking those pre-reps, voicing over the plays of the other receivers. Scout team, he's always, very accurate. Whether it's, using his legs, pushing the ball down the field, being smart with the football. So yeah, that's basically what I've seen from him.
What's he been like on the sidelines since he's not been?
Yeah, just supportive. I've never seen him just not supportive. He's always still continue to talk, just talking to me on side, whether it was the last game, he was like, did you see that look? Did you sit down? He was like, yeah, I think that was the best option on that. Just continue to stay in the game, stay, hearing what I have, hearing the thoughts of his receivers of what kind of routes and how we see that. So I think he's done a great job of just, picking our brains, making sure he's ready for when, his name is called.
You mentioned earlier in the season saying what needs to be said this year and finding your voice in the locker room in your second year. Does the conversation change going from a veteran like Russell Wilson as your quarterback to now having a rookie? Do you feel that you need to communicate or say more to him because it is his first year in the league?
No, like I said, football is football. It's a different game right now, obviously, but I think as he continues to go on, I feel like as a young player, you don't want to keep hearing everybody come up to you telling you this is what you should do, this is what you should do. He's, especially at the quarterback position, I think he's going to mature. He's real mature to understand. I think he's going to take those key elements, whether he make a mistake, he's going to learn from them. And I can see that, sometimes I might come up to him and tell him, he'd be like, yeah, I know I should have did that. So he already knows. He's already making his adjustments on things that he's learning. So I think that's good when you can take something that you did, and learn from it quickly as he can. So I think it's going to be most helpful for him right now.
There was a plane going overhead when you answered your first question. Are you confident you'll be out there on Sunday?
I'll see how, decision will be made closer on to the game.
You've learned a lot from Russ, obviously. You've talked about how he's rubbed off on you a little bit. What is maybe the biggest lesson you've learned from him that you want to take forward after the switch?
I would say trusting in the process, making sure you're ready when your number is called, and trusting God. The plan is already written. What's going on, we can't stop what's going on. So that's all.